Hi guys, how's it going? Cook Beats here. In this video, I'm gonna talk about how did I got signed with Smash the House Generation Smash label. They released Greatness together with Aris and Savu, and why working with a record label, in my opinion, is still relevant even only for one release. In this video, I'm not gonna use my favorite companion for vlogging, for podcast and YouTube, which is my Lumix camera right here. If you are on the budget and you wanna have a great camera to make podcasts, to make videos, this one should be on your list. So let's talk about labels, and in particular, talk about Greatness, which came out recently on Generation Smash, which is one of Smash the House labels. Smash the House is a massive label. They have David Guetta, Timmy Trumpet, Gabry Ponte. They have some of the biggest names in EDM. And Generation Smash take care of the new releases, of the new artists, the new findings. Now, I'm gonna go straight to the point. So how do you get signed with Generation Smash? How do you get signed with any label? If you don't want to waste time sending demos, doing a lot of back and forth, or getting with one of those called label pluggers, the best way is to work with a strong manager. If you are at that point in your career where you're getting enough gigs, they don't have to be big gigs, they could be local gigs, and you have released enough music to have a little bit of a discography and continuity on Spotify, nothing even close to 10,000 monthly listeners. It could be something around a few thousand, and having a track that maybe went either viral on social media or is getting some traction, like 50, 60,000 streams, then you are in the position of looking for a manager. And by looking for a manager, I mean look for somebody that you trust and somebody that has connections in that side of the industry, of the music business, that is relevant for the general music that you produce. Obviously, if you are a DJ, you'll be looking for a booking agent because you want to get gigs. But if you are a producer, you're looking for somebody that will get you a lot more than just a simple distribution deal. A distribution deal obviously is when you go on DistroKid, TuneCore, or one of those websites where you can just pay and get your music out on Spotify, iTunes, and so forth. But then you have to do all the promotion on your own. So why not start to work with a label, build a relationship, start to put out those releases on a consistent level every month? And yes, this is something you might have heard so many times, but still there's so many of you that get it wrong. They're still releasing music and getting a lot excited about dropping a song like next week, next 2 weeks. And there is no strategy, there's no concept, there is no vision. All this is a red flag for managers and for record labels. If you're taking music seriously, it must be something like a regular job. Obviously, it's not, because creativity goes up and down, and the music industry, the revenue is a lot less than most of the jobs out there. But you still need to work with somebody that you can have a relationship of trust and you can grow together, and is also a little bit of a mentor. And a manager could sometimes be a PR person that decides to manage you. It could be a booking agent that decides to manage you, but also it could be a friend or a family member that has connection in the music industry or has experience in the entertainment industry. Because ultimately, a great manager is somebody that has the right mindset. So for example, in my case, when I work on a song, I always go from the step of having a demo and then working on the pre-production, which is when you have different versions of the song, and then working with my manager in order to understand what labels might like the song. Now, you need to think that most of the labels, they have a sound. So if you go to a label like Drumcode, which obviously is huge, has a very distinctive techno or, dark industrial sound. If you're going to a label like Generation Smash from Smash the House, then you're gonna be more on a big room sound, EDM sound. Or if you go to other labels, they might have different type of sounds, different types of signature arrangements that will make sense within their community, because especially if you're a DJ, you know that sometimes people choose music or listen music based on the label where it comes from. Just like the general audience, when they go on Spotify and they look for music and they listen to Spotify playlist rather than look for albums, or they allow the algorithm to suggest new music to them, when it comes to record labels, it's the same process. You need to think about record labels as communities or as scenes. And in these scenes, you have A&Rs, which are people that are in charge of coordinating the project, coordinating the sound. And then you have managers that are bridges. They're sort of talent scouts, and they get new sounds, new artists, new productions in the label attention to the label people. And they say, listen to this because this might be a good fit for your label. Then what happens, obviously, is that some of the labels, especially when it comes to more niche genres, they might either give you more freedom or less freedom when it comes down to the mixing of the song or the mastering. And you need to be open to feedback. If you're thinking about working in the music industry, you need to be open to feedback. You can't be too much judgmental or closed-minded, because you're gonna end up having a lot of issues growing and everything is gonna be so much slower. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. Some of those exceptions are artists or producers that they prefer by far to work independently and to spend the time to build those connections. And there's nothing wrong about that. But you need to think about that the more you're on your own, the more you're gonna be dependent on timing, a little bit of luck, and also coming with the right sound at the right moment in the right place. If you are a DJ and you're busy performing live, if you're a singer-songwriter and you're busy because you also play with a band, or you're a session player and you are with a cover band or a tribute band, you don't have much time to think about, okay, now I need to go to this conference and network with these people, or go back to emails, call back that person, etc. You want to get a fit in the music industry. You want to make sure that you're working with a team that, no matter how big it is, will value your release. So when it comes down to this, again, we go back to point one, which is look for a manager. Look for somebody that is either already following you, maybe they're checking your Instagram story, maybe they're one of the super fans, which you can now see on the Spotify metrics. And remember, the music industry has standards. One of the standards that I know for sure record labels look at is your Instagram and your Spotify. There are so many different reasons why Instagram and Spotify are at the top of the priorities when it comes down for labels to check if an artist is happening. But what it matters is make sure that there is a strategy and it shows that you have a vision when it comes down on posting on Instagram, putting your stories, talk about yourself, not necessarily with your voice, but with your music, and make sure that you have a distribution strategy when it comes down to Spotify. Build a team around you. Have a publicist if you can. Have somebody that is in charge of promoting your music. Have a manager or a little management team, somebody that is in charge of saying, I'm gonna take your music and I'm gonna put it in front of the right people. I'm gonna have somebody that will build a distribution strategy. Or if you can't afford to have a team or to hire a team, just start little. And by start little, I mean literally, there must be somebody in your circle of friends that you truly trust. That person is somebody that honestly believes in you, and he might not like all the music that you do, but they do believe in you, and they have a very practical mind that can keep track of stuff that you are too focused on the creative things to just care about. This is everything for now, and I'll see you in the next videos of my podcast. I'm going to talk about more topics like this. This has been an unusually long video for me, but I'll make sure to reply to your messages. If you want to comment on the video here, make sure to subscribe on my channel to see more episodes like this. In my podcast, as mentioned before, you're going to see a lot of behind the scenes tour images. In February, we're going to be in LA, the Grammy week. There's going to be so much great stuff to check. Ciao for now.